our revision lecture today, we are taking the revision of Legend of Northland and No Men Are Foreign. First of all, I am taking Legend of Northland. So as you know what Legend of Northland is, Legend of Northland is a, you can say, it's a story told in the poem that tells us that greedy people, they are never acceptable even in the house of God. Greedy people who are good for nothing, they are even so mean that they can provoke the anger of a saint, and ultimately what happens, they have to face the consequences of their greed. So in this point also, Legend of Northland, the poet is telling a story, because he is telling a story, because plot is there as well as a story is there, and ultimately it is delivering a lesson at the end. So that's why it is also called as ballad. Okay, this poem is also a ballad. Sometimes this question can also be asked, why? Because it contains a story which is being told with the moral lesson at the end, so that's why it is called a ballad. Moreover, it is a legend. Why it is a legend? Because what is a legend? Legend is a, you can say, is a story which travel from one generation to the next generation. Okay, and it based on some historical facts, but it may not be true. Even the poet has said in this poem that I don't believe it is true. Okay, so what it means? It means that this is also a legend. So these main 2 points I want to highlight here. Okay, so in this poem you have come to know that a saint, because he was tired of traveling, he was tired of preaching from one place to another, finally he went to a cottage where a woman was baking the cakes in a furnace. She was making different, you can say, different sizes of the cakes, and when the saint asked for a small piece of cake, as he was tired of preaching, as he was tired of traveling, the woman was not at all ready to part with even a small piece of cake. She was not ready to give a small piece of cake to the saint. But why? Why she was not ready? She was not ready to give her small piece of cake because she was so greedy in nature. She thought that these pieces of cakes, they are quite large. This can be huge all. So ultimately she was not ready to give a small piece of cake, as she thought that these cakes, they are too large to be given away, but they are too small for her own, for to be eaten on her own. So that's why she was not ready. This upped the anger of the saint. He was angry. This provoked the anger of the saint, and ultimately what happened, he has turned her into a woodpecker, because the saint thought that you are not that you don't deserve the human form, you don't deserve to be in human form, you don't deserve to enjoy these, you can say, benefits of life, that in this cold weather you are getting warmth, you are getting, you can say, food and appropriate shelter, but you don't deserve all these things because you are so inhuman to help any human being. You are devoid of the pain and suffering of the other fellow beings. So ultimately you don't deserve to be in this human form, you have to be changed into an animal or a bird. So finally what he did, he cursed the woman was changed into a woodpecker, and she came out of the chimney, and when she came out of the chimney, all her clothes, they were burnt into black, and the red scarlet cap, the red colored cap that was on her head, it remained the same. And this legend, it travels from one generation to another, and even till present day the poet is saying that every school child who is passing through the forest, they must have seen that woodpecker boring and boring in the bark of the tree to procure the food and get the shelter. Okay, so this is the main, you can say, the summary of the poem. Okay, as the poem is quite simple in its language, that's why I have explained it in this manner. So through the questions, the extra questions I am discussing, so that you people will get an idea of the main things once and again. Now, why does the poet say that the hours of the day are few? Why he says that the hours of the day are few? The poet is saying that the hours of the day are few because he is talking of a region which is situated on the extreme north region or near the poles, or it is situated in the polar region where it is extreme cold weather. May it be some, you can say, may it be an area that is entirely covered with snow throughout the day. And at such areas, because the sun rays, they are slanting in nature and they are not getting appropriate sunlight, so the duration of the nights are longer than the days. That's why the poet is saying that the days are few. Next question, who came to the women's house and what did he ask for? Who came to the women's house? Who came to the women's house? A saint came to the women's house, and what he was asking? He was asking for a piece of cake. And why he was asking for a piece of cake? He was asking a piece of cake because he was tired of preaching and moving from one place to another. Next question, why was Saint Peter tired and hungry? Why was Saint Peter tired and hungry? You can also unmute yourself and raise up your hand so that we can discuss side by side. In this manner, it will turn into a monotonous class even if I'll be speaking. Okay, 1 minute. Yes, raise up your hand so that I can unmute you. Good, Jasleen. Right. Okay. So side by side, I'm unmuting you. Yes. So why
He was
was
tired and feeling hungry
why he was tired?
because of fast and traveling.
Yes, because he was tired of traveling from one place to another. As he was preaching from one place to another, as he was considered to be an apostle of Jesus, an image of Jesus, who is delivering his ideas, who is delivering his, you can say, preaching. So that's why he was tired of preaching and he was hungry. So that's why he was traveling from one place to another, and being tired and hungry, he asked for a piece of cake from the woman who was baking the cakes on the hearth. Next question, what happened to the cakes the women baked for Saint Peter? What happened to the cakes the woman baked for Saint Peter?
The
Yes.
cakes the woman made for the Saint Peter were very very small, and at firstly he made a big cake, then he made a smaller cake, and then he made a thin waffle, but he didn't want to give it to Saint Peter
Yes.
as he
Hmm.
as she believed that the cakes were too large to give it to
Ah,
Saint Peter firstly.
yes, the woman was not at all ready to give the piece of cakes that she was baking to Saint Peter. She thought that these cakes, even these small pieces of cakes, they are too large to be given away, but they are too small for her own consumption. So what she did, she thought, finally at the end, she baked a thin cake or a thin slice of cake which was as thin as a wafer. And finally, because of this, what happened? This apped the anger of the saint, and she was turned into a woodpecker. Next question. And surely such a woman enough to provoke a saint. Why? Who was the lady, and how did she provoke the saint? Who was that lady who provoked the saint? Yes. Yes, students. Who was the lady who provoked the saint? Yes.
The lady was the owner of the house who was baking cakes in her store.
Yes, the lady was a woman who was baking cakes in the hearth or in the furnace, but she was too greedy that she was not at all ready to give her piece of cake to the saint. Okay, so why did Saint Peter curse the woman, and why and what did he turn her into? Yes, Saksham Grover can speak.
The saint cursed the woman because the woman was a very big miser and didn't had a big heart to
Hmm.
give a large piece of cake to a
Yes,
saint.
she was too greedy. She doesn't deserve to be dwell in the human form. So that's why this provoked the anger, or this angered Saint Peter, and finally she cursed the woman. How she cursed the woman? That she was changed into a woodpecker. Okay, that she was changed into a woodpecker, right? And when she was changed into a woodpecker, all her clothes, they were turned into black. They were burnt as they were burnt, and her red scarlet cap, it remained so, and she was boring and boring again in the barks of the trees. Next, what is the theme of the poem? Yes, who will speak about the theme of the poem? Yes,
The theme of the poem is that one should not be greedy.
yes, one should not be greedy, because here in this poem, if I'm not repeating again and again the same thing, that the woman, she has faced the consequences of her greed, as she was too greedy to give a small piece of cake to Saint Peter. So she faced the consequences, and ultimately she was punished. She was, as she did not deserve to be in the human form, she was changed into a woodpecker. So the theme of the poem, it delivers us the message that one should not be greedy, and greed is a quality which even God does not like. And this only resulted in, you can say, angering the saint, and ultimately she met the consequences of her greed. Next, what is a ballad and how is this poem a ballad? Again, I have told you in the starting that what is a ballad? Ballad is a poem which is narrating a story, okay? Narrating a story in short stanzas. You can note down what is a ballad. It is a poem which is narrating a story in short stanzas and is delivering a lesson at the end. So in this poem also, in short stanzas, the poem is written. It is delivering a story, because from the very starting the poet has said that I am going to tell you a story, in which he is telling the story of a saint as well as a woman who was baking the cake. And ultimately we have learned the lesson that greed is not at all acceptable in the house of God. Such people are never, you can say, appreciated by God also. So finally what is there? This is the ballad. Okay. So what do you learn about Saint Peter in the poem? That what kind of person, what kind of man he was? Saint Peter, he is an apostle of Jesus. He was traveling from one place to another, and he was delivering the lessons of Jesus, and he was also preaching, you can say, from one, while moving from one place to another. But he still have some human like qualities, as he was angered by the behavior of the woman. He was not at all ready to accept such kind of greed to be, you can say, such type of greed to be a part of a human character. And ultimately what happened? Because of the greed of the women, he was angered, and ultimately even he cursed, okay, the women. So finally, what is the main theme, if I will talk about in just one line, is that by concluding the point that greed is a quality which even God does not accept, or which God does not like. So this theme is clearly brought about in the poem. I have discussed in since starting. Okay, clear now? Any
Yes,
problem
ma'am.
in this poem?
No,
Any
ma'am.
problem? It's fine. Raghav Sadana was saying, I don't think so, in which question he was having problem. Raghav Sadana, you are in,
Ma'am, he is in ninth B.
okay, he's in 9th B. Okay, okay, right. Okay, fine. So any problem, I think it's fine. Clear, students? Poem is clear? Okay. So now, next afterwards, we are going to take into account few, you can say, paraphrases of the poem that I am going to ask, so that it will help you people will have a deep understanding. Okay. Some of the questions I will ask, extract based questions you people will have in exams, and on the basis of it, let us have a short revision. So, for example, the first paragraph, see in the book, away, away in the Northland, where the hours of the day are few and the nights are so long in winter that they cannot sleep them though. So when such type of extract based questions are there, you have to answer according to the paraphrase that is given to you, right? So which place is mentioned in these lines? Yes, give me the answer. Which place is
Northland.
mentioned in these lines?
Northland.
It is a northland which is situated in the extreme north region, where the earth is entirely covered with snow. What does the poet mean by the days of the hours of the day are few? This I have already discussed. Okay, it means that because it is an extreme, you can say, region, it is an extreme cold region, so the nights usually meant to be long and the days are short. Why is it difficult to sleep through the night? Why is it difficult to sleep through the night? Yes. Why is it difficult to sleep through the night? Yes.
Because nights are very cold.
Nights are very cold and very long. So it is not, for me as a human being, it is not possible to sleep for longer durations of time during the night. So they used to pass their time by telling legends or by sharing stories with each other. Next, who does they refer to in the last line of the stanza? That they cannot sleep them through. Who are they in this last line? Yes.
Inhabitants of the Northland.
Yes, very good. Inhabitants of the Northland. And students, please take into account this consideration that whenever 1 mark question is there, or sometimes like in the end, like MCQ for MCQ or for that very short answers, you are asked to write on just for 1 mark. Just remember, right? If it is written 1 to 2 words, you should stick to the limit. Okay. When you are writing long lines, it is not a descriptive answer. Okay. So you should be intelligent enough how to compress your answer and how to expand it. You should know what is asked and give to the point answer. Next, for example, next paragraph I'm taking, see the lines in the book. He came to the door of a cottage in traveling round the earth where a little woman was making cakes and baking them on hearth. Yes, who came to the door of a cottage? Who came to the door of a cottage? Who came to the door of a cottage? Yes, anyone?
A saint.
Yes, Saint Peter came to the door of a cottage, as you can elaborate it if it is in 2 marks, as he was tired of preaching and he was feeling hungry. Okay, so he, in order to take rest and to eat some food, he came to the door of a cottage. Why did the person came to the door of a cottage? This question I have already explained. Because he was tired of preaching, he was tired and hungry of preaching. And what was the woman doing? What was the woman doing?
The woman was busy baking the cakes.
Was busy baking the cakes. And why did he ask the woman? What did he ask the woman for? She asked the woman for a piece of cake. Okay, right? So it is related to this poem, that is Legend of Northland. Now next afterwards, we are going to start with the revision of the next poem today, that is No Men Are Foreign. Okay. So No Men Are Foreign, it is written by James K. Cupp. In this poem, the poet is delivering us a lesson that we should follow the policy of universal brotherhood. We should not consider ourselves to be demarcated from each other. We are not separated from each other, but we are one. We consider this earth and one. We should not defile this earth. We should not destroy this earth because of our actions by creating wars, because the long effects of war, it always brings sadness as well as suffering in the life of the people. Okay, in very short, in nutshell, that I have explained. But now I'm taking the meanings of the poem line wise, because you must have any problem. So remember, no men are strange, no country is foreign. Beneath all uniforms, a single body breathes. Yes, the poet is reminding us that we are considering ourselves that we are inhabitants of a particular country. We are living in a particular region, so we are limited to this region. We are limited to this territory. We are limited to this boundary. But actually, this is not the case. We are the inhabitants of this earth only. We should consider this earth as a single unit. We should not consider it as separate. And beneath all uniforms, a single body breathes. It means under all the uniforms. What is the function of uniform? I told you when I taught you that uniforms are ironical in nature. How they are ironical in nature? Because uniforms are meant to demarcate the soldiers or the armies of one country from the another. But actually are uniforms performing this role? No, because outside, from the outer, you can say from the outlook, they are delivering this, you can say that we are separated from each other. But inside, under these uniforms, everybody is same. same type of, you can say, physiology is working in the bodies of each and every individual. Every person is same, you can say, body structure, same form, as well as same, you can say, life processes they are following. So that's why they are not at all separate from each other. So the uniforms, they are ironical in nature, and a single body breeds. It means that under these uniforms, we have a single body which is not separated from each other. Next, as the idea is moving on to the next line, single body breeds like ours. So this is an example of enchantment. Okay, literal devices I'm explaining side by side. And the land our brothers walk upon is earth like this, in which all shall lie. And the land and the type of land our brothers is referring to the inhabitants of the other territories, of the other countries. And the land on which they are, you can say, they are moving, it is of course the same type of land that we are walking upon. Then how we are different from each other? In the first three stanzas, the poet is explaining, he is reminding the different type of ways how we are equal to each other. Okay, so next is, you can say, they too aware of sun, air and water. Yes, they too are aware of sun, air and water. They know also these, it means that the nature has equally provided bounties, it's, you can say, facilities to everybody in an equal or in a proportionate way. Then why we are demarcating ourselves? Is there any need? No, there is no need. Finally, the poet is delivering this lesson. And are fed by peaceful harvest. Understand this peaceful harvest. This peaceful harvest, note down that this is an example of transferred epithet. Transferred epithet. This is peaceful harvest and that of winter starved wars. Same continuity line. Winter starved, long winter starved it is. Long winter starved in continuity. These two expressions are there. These are metaphors also. Moreover, these are examples of transferred epithet. Now, what is transferred epithet? Transferred epithet is a rhetorical device in which emotion is attributed to non-living things. Okay, after being, you can say, after being displaced from a person. Emotions are not attached to a person, but these are attached to a thing. Here with harvest and war, in the second, you can say, expression long winter star, emotion is attached to that of winter. Okay, how this is, what is the meaning of peaceful harvest? Peaceful harvest, it means that peaceful social as well as political setting of a country. What it results? It results into, you can say, plenty of, you can say, food for the people, and the harvest process, it will go on in, you can say, in a normal way. Okay, there will not be any shortage of crops or famine. Yes, Jasleen?
मैम आपने अभी कौन सी लिटरेरी डिवाइस बताई इन दोनों
Transferred epithet, beta, transferred epithet. Transferred epithet,
Thank you.
peaceful harvests and long winter starved. Okay, so in which it is a rhetorical device in which an emotion is attached to a non-living thing. So peaceful harvest means if the political setting will be, you can say, if there will be social as well as peaceful social and political setting, there will not be happening of any war. And what is the result of it? That there will be peaceful harvest and there will be no famine, and harvest, you can say, peaceful harvesting will be possible. And long winter start again is an example of transferred epithet. How it is an example of transferred epithet? Because what is winter? What it is related to? Winter is related to sadness, silence. Okay, so you can imagine a place where winter, you can say, winter is in, you can say, full, you can say, whoa. So what is the effect of winter? Everywhere white, no leaves, no nest, nothing else. So winter starved means winter brings starvation. Okay, so that's why. Okay, and the effects of the war, it also results in starvation because there is loss of resources, loss of people. Many children are rendered orphan, many women are rendered widows. So ultimately, what is the result of war? It results into starvation. And their hands are ours, and in their lines we read a labor not different from ours. Their hands are also have the same type of lines. If they are doing the hard work, they are getting the results of their hard work. And they are also not doing a different kind of labor from that of us. Like we people are doing the work, we people are doing or if we people are, you can say, making any invention, such kind of discoveries, they people are also doing their work. They are not at all different. The same, you can say, moral values of life they are following, and the same type of life they are enjoying. Then how we are different from each other? Okay. So next, remember, they have eyes like us that wake or sleep. Again, this same idea rolls on to the next line. After wake or sleep, no comma, no full stop. Okay, so that's why this is also an example of what? This is an example of enjambment. Remember, they have eyes like ours that wake. They also have the similar type of eyes that follow the sleeping patterns. They wake at a particular time period, they sleep, they take rest. And strength that can be won by love. And it is only strength, and strength it is only, you can say, won by love. If there is any kind of, you can say, differences, if there are any kind of discrepancies in our thoughts, that can only be sorted out by love, but not by war. Because ultimately, what is the result of war? Ultimately, a treaty is signed, finally an agreement is passed out that results into peaceful settling of human life. Then why this war? Okay, so the strength can be won by love only, and in every land is common life they can recognize and understand, and in every, you can say, place we are, you can say, witness of this fact that there is common type of life, the same type of life activity is being followed by people. Then how we are different from each other? And we must recognize this, we must recognize this fact, and we should not at all forget this fact and understand this reality of life, that we are not at all different from each other. Now, let us remember, when we are told to hate our brothers, it is ourselves. Again, example of enjambment. It means that when we are told, who are telling us to hate our brothers and sisters, who are the inhabitants of the next territory, or who are different from the boundaries of our country, it is only those people who are politicians actually, who just because of their benefits, only just because of their personal benefits, they are telling us to hate our brothers and sisters. Okay, but actually we are not made to hate each other. But we should consider ourselves as a single entity, that we are the units of this single entity, that is earth. That after that, to hate our brothers, it is ourselves that we shall dispossess, betray, and condemn. And after that, who are suffering? It is we only. We are betraying ourselves, we are condemning each other. What we are doing, if we are hating each other, the consequences are also, you can say, they are applicable to us. We are, you can say, facing the consequences ultimately, nobody else. Remember, we who take arms against each other, and it is only we who are taking arms against each other. It is the human earth that we defile, and it is only the human earth that we defile at the end. Defile means destroy, cause harm to, because our earth is in declining condition. It is an ailing planet. Ailing planet, why? Because the earth is not at all considered to be a, you can say, physiological entity, but it is going to be considered as a living thing. Why? Because it is growing, it is being affected. So we are causing harm to our mother earth, because we are using various type of arms, ammunition, armaments, that is causing harm to our earth only. If we are polluting the air of a particular area, it doesn't mean that we are harming that particular area, but what we are doing, we are harming ourselves, because this entire earth is a single unit. Are hells of fire, and ultimately because of use of various nuclear weapons, what is the result? Use of these armaments, ammunition, what is the result? Hells of fire. Lot of fire is produced, which produce hells. Hells of fire means life is destroyed at all in such type of activity. And dust outrage the innocence, and smokes of dust they are being produced that remove, that wipe out the innocence of life from this face of the earth forever and ever. Of air that is everywhere our own. Why we always forget that this air is actually our own? Why we are forgetting that we are not able to separate nature earth from each other. How can we separate nature earth from each other? Remember, no men are foreign and no country strange. And we should not forget this fact that we are separate from each other, because the last line is being repeated again and again. Remember that we should not forget that we are separate from each other. So this is also an example of refrain. Okay. Now students, if you have any problem, you can ask me. We have discussed it in detail. Okay. Yes, any problem? Or I'm going to ask. Okay, two students have raised the hand. Yes, Princey.
गुड मॉर्निंग मैम।
Good morning, beta.
मैम मैंने कहना था कि लिटरली डिवाइसेस रिपीट कर दो एक बार सारी पोएम के।
For this poem, we have enchantment. First two lines, next two lines, then second paragraph also. They too aware of sun, air, and water, fed by peaceful harvest, winter starved. Peaceful harvest, winter starved. These are examples of metaphor, as well as these are examples of transferred epithets. Okay. And then we have again enchantment in the next line. Remember, they have eyes like ours that wake or sleep, right? Then refrain, remember is again and again repeated. Okay, Bisam Jyot wants to say something. Yes, Bisam. Okay, fine, right? So I'm discussing some extra questions because 1 or 2 minutes are left with that. The class will be over, right? And thank you very much.